Good afternoon, college marching band fans, and welcome to the Intercollegiate Marching Band pregame tailgate show. And I am Michael Barish from collegemarching.com, joined today with two of my very good friends, Jeremy Williams from Style Plus and Guard Closet, and Barry Hauser from CBDNA and the University of Illinois Marching Illini. Welcome, Jeremy. Welcome, Barry. How are you guys doing?
Good. We're just experiencing, they often say that the person that knows last that something goes wrong is the bride at the wedding. And I feel like we are a little bit in that right now. For those of you that were supposed to be going over to YouTube to watch this, it's like, okay, wait, switch gears. Now we're going to be on the college marching page, which is just as exciting and makes it all so much better. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here. I'm a little bit of like dual duty with all these people. I had to get as much as I could in here. So it's Style Plus, Guard Closet. I had to represent the band I teach right now, Widener University. They're a part of the IMB, and I had to rep the place that I come from, Westchester University. They're a part of the IMB. So I'm ready to go. Let's get this thing going.
Awesome. Welcome, Barry.
Hey, thanks so much. It's great to see you. Great to see you all. And tremendous thank you to our students behind the scenes here, making this all work with this quick change. Like Jeremy said, some great things taking place to make this excitement and even more exciting, right? But so excited that all of you are joining us tonight for just this awesome performance that's going to take place, and just one of those feel-good moments in a time where we need a lot more feel-good in the world.
Absolutely. And so for those of you who maybe have no idea what's happening right now, today is the national championship game for college football playoff. And at halftime, the CBDNA Intercollegiate Marching Band will make their inaugural debut on the virtual field in the official virtual halftime show of the playoff. There will be a virtual video that will go live all across social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, all the Intercollegiate Marching Band platforms. We will be promoting it, helping it get out so you can watch it. It is a tremendous video. You could not believe the amount of work that has gone into this. It's really remarkable, but it's there for you tonight at halftime of the college football playoff national championship game. And fun fact, the recorded video, the actual halftime show, will be played in the stadium in Miami for all the fans in attendance to watch. So college marching bands will be a primary point of halftime at the game tonight, which is super cool. So I wanted to have Jeremy and Barry join me because they are really two of the most influential folks, part of our founding team for the IMB. And we're going to be kind of hosting the next hour or so of programming. We have some amazing guests who will be joining us. We'll have some of the rest of the founding team. We'll have our GPT Music and our virtual ensemble who help build everything that you're going to see tonight. We're going to go deep into the COVID-19 pandemic and the impact of bands. We're going to talk to some students. And then after about an hour, all of us, we're going to get out of here and we're going to turn this over to our student members who are just rock stars and incredible. And for the last hour of this, between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m., that 7 to 8 p.m. slot, we're going to have the students take over as we lead off to kick off. So once again, stick with us. We have an incredible amount of programming here tonight for all of you, and we're just so thrilled that you'll join us. Right now, I want to take a second and recognize our first group of sponsors and people that really helped us get this off the ground. So we'll be right back in just a minute. Welcome back, everybody. Again, we just want to really say thank you to our sponsors who, without their help, we would not be able to pull this off. So as you saw, thank you to Yamaha, thank you to DeMullen, to Cousins, and the Collegiate Band Directors National Association for making all of this possible. Now, as you can see with Jeremy, Barry, and I, we have some new faces on the screen. So let's take a second to introduce the rest of our founding team here from Clemson University and the president of CBDNA, Dr. Mark Speed.
Good evening, everyone.
Yay.
From Halftime Magazine, Christine Katzman.
Yay.
And the magician behind the video, the man who has put in more hours than you could possibly imagine, from GPG Music and our virtual ensemble, our lead sponsor and premier partner, Steve Martin.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Do we have applause sound effects that we can insert in here? Because that would be what is sort of necessary.
We need crowd noise.
Yeah, I would feel like like all of that.
This is your founding team. So just to give you guys some history, Jeremy, why don't you talk us through the origins of the IMB and how this team came together?
Well, it's interesting. I am very excited to be here with everyone, and I never expected to be here with everyone. When I had this random idea, after seeing a lot of other people do stuff over the summer with the virtual performances and whatnot, I was teaching at Widener and working with the band director, Dr. Moyer there, and we were just trying to figure out what we're doing with these kids. What are we doing with these kids? And like, doesn't seem like anybody's doing anything with the college people. You know, there were high school shows that were, high school circuits that were doing virtual things and stuff like that, but there wasn't really anything going on for the college stuff. So I was like, there has to be something that we could do. So then I reached out to Michael and Christine at Halftime, and I said, what can we do? Here's my idea. Here's what I think. They're like, well, let's, morph this. Let's talk about this. Someone said, let's get CBDNA involved, and boom, that's when everything sort of like immediately fell into place. It was like pretty crazy how fast and furious Dr. Speed and Dr. Hauser jumped in on this. It was like pretty insane. I'm super appreciative of it. And then like, as soon as we made the announcement that we were doing it, Steve was like, okay, how do I get, I want to get involved. Like, what can I do? Blah, blah, blah. So it's been fantastic, the entire journey.
So Mark and Barry, take us through that initial conversation. And, you guys sit in a really unique place, both being band directors and obviously leaders in CBDNA. Take us through the initial conversation and what was going through your minds as this opportunity was presented.
Barry, you want to go, or you want me?
You want to go ahead and take the lead, and then I'll back clean up.
Okay. So Jeremy and Michael and Christine contacted the two of us, and we actually had to put them off for a while because they contacted us at the worst possible moment, right when we weren't sure what we were even doing with our own ensembles. So I think by about late September, early October, we finally had a Zoom meeting, and if you know Jeremy at all, he has big visions, delusions of grandeur.
I will say, I only learned it from Todd Marcacci from Westchester University. You can blame him 1,000 million% for anything that I want to do with glitter and sequins and anything.
So anyway, we heard the pitch. It was going to be this big elaborate production, and Barry and I were both like, I don't know if we can pull off an hour-long something, whatever this was going to be, and so. I think pretty quickly the group of us in that first meeting settled on the idea of a virtual performance that would be about 2 or 3 minutes. We thought, Barry and I thought that was doable, and from that meeting we were off and running, and Steve joined us shortly thereafter. Barry, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, you covered a great deal of it, and I think just in the spirit of college marching bands, right? This is something that we all believe in the collegiate world, that there's so much competition and who gets the trophy and first place and things like that. And we just knew right away that we wanted this to be something that was going to unify college bands. And, you've seen this, if you've seen any of the media releases that Christine and her team have put out, it just truly brings together the spirit of what we're all about. That you're going to see, students from every athletic conference and every athletic division that come together for this performance. And that's something that we all have visions of, specifically at the collegiate level. And, there's a place for competition, and we'll leave that on the shelf. But, tonight, this is about coming together and really highlighting college bands. And, Michael shared this at the beginning of today's show, that even though, the two teams that are playing for this national championship, Alabama and Ohio State, there's not going to be a college marching band there, a live college marching band. So the fact that we get to do this and be a part of the college football playoff, the national championship game, it's just in the true spirit of who we are. It's about entertainment, bringing people together, and we get to do it on this national scale today.
And I would say that one of the coolest things about this is that if you look at how the college football playoff is structured, there's really a hierarchy of teams who truly have the chance to go to the college football playoff. And a exceedingly large number of college bands will probably never have the chance to go to that game. And to have now 1,500 students nominated to perform in this band, the majority of them probably never truly having the chance to go to this game in their collegiate, marching career, I think is a really neat opportunity for all of them to say that, I was part of a national championship performance.
I think one of the big important things too was what Mark, you said right from the beginning, is that this is about the students and showcasing the students as much as possible. That was it. It was just about that. And I think that's what we've accomplished.
And just to
one of the best things about
Christine.
college bands is the camaraderie. So the fact that we were able to build camaraderie among 200 different bands and bring the students together to meet each other and enjoy each other's company and be able to perform together is part of what makes this such a big deal.
Steve, I'm going to give you the last word before we head off to our next segment.
Great. Well, first I have to get on the bandwagon. I'm late to the party. There we go. This was just, it was somebody else's dream, but it was a dream come true. This is the whole reason we created our program, OVE, our virtual ensemble, is to help performers have a chance to perform again. And, that was designed for the middle school orchestra down the street and the high school band, and whatever. This was never part of the vision, and it is the coolest application of it that we've ever done. It was also the most ridiculously intense. Michael said we don't know we know the hours. It's just shy of 200 across 3 editors on our team, and that's just that's a month plus in the editing room, like I said, across 3 of us. But it came out amazing. It accomplished what we all said was our vision from the beginning, and Jeremy's already said it. And luckily, I was in line with that we want to focus on the students and see faces and have them be able to see themselves and their peers and their rival schools, which doesn't really exist in the marching band side. So it was just, it was so much fun. So as much as it was probably more work than I ever dreamed of, I would not take any of it back. I'd do it all again. Maybe we get to do something again, but this has been pretty amazing, and we are so glad we got to be part of it.
Awesome. And speaking of our amazing students, we are going to have a Q&A with our student team leads and our hosts. So if you are watching right now, go to the comment section of this live stream, drop any questions you may have in the live chat, post them on Twitter, on social media, wherever you have. Use the hashtag CFB virtual halftime, which is the official hashtag of the CBDNA IMB performance today. We can't wait to answer your questions. And if you have any for our hosts and our directors, you can leave them there in the chat. But before we get to those coming up next, we're going to look at marching through a pandemic. We all have been through this for this last year. A story from our great friend, Christine Katzman in Halftime Magazine, who followed many challenges that bands across the country faced throughout this COVID-19 outbreak. We're going to get into that. It's going to be an amazing conversation. But first, let's follow Maeve, one of our student leaders, as she takes us on a behind-the-scenes look at how all the member spotlights were made.
Hi everyone, this is Maeve St. Ange giving you an inside look into how we make your student spotlights. To make your spotlight, first we go into your school's website and screenshot your school colors. We then bring that into Photoshop to select the colors we will use for the graphic. Next, we bring in your photo. We crop it to the right size and reposition it until it looks good. Then, we change the text to your name, section, and school. Now it's ready to be exported and posted to our social media. We hope you've enjoyed seeing everyone's spotlights over the past 2 months, and we cannot wait for the virtual halftime show tonight. Stay tuned.
Every band across the nation modified its 2020 fall marching season due to COVID-19. Halftime Magazine interviewed college bands in the NCAA Power Five about marching through a pandemic in our November 2020 issue. Here's a recap. The Big Ten and Pacific 12 conferences prohibited bands, spirit groups, and fans from its stadiums. Without the need to produce a show every week, the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign in the Big Ten chose to dive deeper into educational topics such as marching health, hearing preservation, and inclusion. The band also recorded songs for athletics to play during games. But most interestingly, however, might be the story behind these cardboard cutouts. We have Barry Hauser, director of the Marching Illini, to tell us more about them and Illinois season.
Yeah, hello everybody again, and you're going to hear a variety of different things in terms of how bands have responded or been able to respond during the pandemic, and this is one way that we at Illinois, as well as many others throughout the country, were still a visible entity in a very empty stadium. As Christine shared, the Big Ten did not allow fans, did not allow bands. And so we were able to work with our athletic marketing, and they completely funded this project to get pictures of every band member to put in the actual band seating area. That's typically where the band is, that picture that you can see there. And we were visible, and that was our way of participating and being a part of this time when bands weren't present. And of course, we were still able to record some things, as Christine said, that we did in an empty stadium, and then athletics played that during football games, so you could still hear the band. But that was how we kind of dealt with some things, as well as diving into a lot of topics that we weren't typically able to address in a quote-unquote normal season.
That's wonderful that your band was still able to be there in spirit to cheer on the team. The Atlantic Coast Conference, Big 12 Conference, and Southeastern Conference encouraged bands to attend games and play music from the stands, even though they could not perform on the fields. In the ACC, Clemson University, which appeared on our cover, recorded halftime shows in advance of the games. During each halftime, a show was played on the stadium's video screen with the audio muted. Band members performed the music accompaniment live from their seats. Dr. Mark Speed, Director of Bands at Clemson, is here to tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so I'm just reflecting on especially the beginning of the season. We didn't know what was coming, even August 1st. Didn't know if we were going to be able to field a band, if we were going to be allowed in the stadium at all. And we hadn't invested much time in planning, so when we got the word that we were going to be able to be in the stadium, we started scrambling to get the first show written, and then the university announced the first month would be totally online. So we had to do band camp via Zoom. Once we got the students live, it was more or less like a normal season, the only difference being that we could not go on the field during the game. So we decided to videotape our shows on our rehearsal field, play them in the stadium, on the video board, but muted, and then the band played along with the videos live in the stadium. So I think, looking back on it, it was such a scramble, but I think we made lemonade out of lemons and did as well as we possibly could have, considering all the restrictions.
Thank you, Mark, for sharing that information with us. We turn to the University of Oklahoma in the Big 12. Oklahoma also pre-recorded its halftime production to air on the stadium screen. For its recordings, the full band marched in a block formation, and film crew captured multiple camera angles. The band then divided into 4 groups to serve as pep bands at different games. We're not moving nearly as much. We're using follow the leader and contrary motion for effects, says Brian Britt, director. The University of Georgia in the SEC rehearsed about 1/4 of the band at a time. Each group took turns performing its pregame and halftime shows as standstills. We're playing from the stands in reduced numbers, says Dr. Brett Bauckham, director. The University of Iowa in the Big Ten presented online virtual shows, including its pregame show, drum cadences, and 2 halftime shows. For each show, Iowa recorded half of its band at separate times and edited footage together from both performances. We do a little bit of magic, splicing and putting them together, says Dr. Eric W. Bush, director. And finally, the University of Colorado Boulder in the Pac-12 held a few sectionals and full band rehearsals in an empty stadium. During the rehearsals, the band captured audio that played in the stadium during games. Our in-game stands music is played over the PA system to mimic a game day experience, says Matthew Dockendorf, director. No playbook exists for living and marching through the pandemic. According to Baucom from the University of Georgia, I hope every director, instructor, and performer is extending themselves a little grace. Read the full article at halftimemag.com. Halftime Magazine is now completely free and fully digital, so subscribe today. Keep on marching. And now we'll take a few more seconds to thank our sponsors.
The Intercollegiate Marching Band fundraising team began their efforts in November to raise $40,000. This fundraiser was an integral part of making this incredible endeavor possible. Thanks to our corporate partners and individual donors, the hashtag IMB family has raised over $35,000, only $5,000 away from our goal. Head over to our website, cbdna-imb.com, for more information on how to join the IMB family.
Hey everyone, we are back, and I have the esteemed pleasure of speaking with our design team, in a sense, for the IMB, although kind of unconventional, I guess, in terms of how something gets designed. I can kind of say, that having these people on board was pretty much no-brainers all the way around. I know that when Dr. Speed and Dr. Hauser were initially trying to figure out what music we were even going to do, they were like, of course, Scott has to be involved. So Scott, why don't you take a second, introduce yourself, talk a little bit about that first initial call and maybe how then you got Chuck involved, and we'll go from there.
All right. Hey, everybody, it's good to see you. Well, I can't really see you, but hopefully you can see us. But wow, what an honor to be a part of this whole thing. It's been a long but very fun process to see it come to fruition. And basically, I'm the director of bands at Western Michigan University at this point. Prior to this, I was the associate director of bands and the director of the Michigan Marching Band at the University of Michigan, and I was at Eastern Michigan before that. So I'm trying to get to all the Michigan universities before I retire. But I've been arranging and composing for many, many years. Most of my life, I've been the arranger for the Madison Scouts Drum and Bugle Corps for many of those years, and write for bands all across the country, across the world. And so this is just such a nice pinnacle for me to be a part of this massive project. Mark Speed just gave me a ring, and I know Mark. He just gave me a ring and said, hey, would you be interested in being involved in this project? We're thinking about doing this thing. I'd love to have you to write the music. And of course I said yes. It'd be a phenomenal thing, especially during this time where marching bands, some of them are happening, some of them are not. And it's an opportunity for everybody to make it happen. And just such a great honor. And my buddy Chuck and I wrote together, or have been writing together, for the Michigan Marching Band for, I don't know, 73 years, I think.
Close, 75.
About that. But Chuck's a fantastic percussion arranger, composer, instructor, and just when Mark said to me, who do you want to do the percussion parts, it was just a no-brainer that I'm going to go with Chuck. So thanks, Chuck, for making the percussion happen.
I'm smart enough to know after all these years that when Scott Borma calls, you say yes.
That's very kind. The check's in the mail.
I've heard that a lot said about Scott for several different things, I think. But anyway, I just want to take a quick second, let Michael and Lexi introduce yourself. Michael, I knew immediately was the person that I had to call to do all the color guard choreography. And So, Michael, just talk a little bit about yourself, what you're doing these days, and then we'll introduce Lexi, because I will say at the end of the conversation, Michael's like, yes, I could do kick lines. Yes, I could do the splits. Yes, I could do the stands. Yes, I could do the, but he's like, but the twirlers, yeah, he's like, he's like, no. So that's where Lexi came in, which we're thrilled to have her. But Michael, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, obviously, when Jeremy approached me about this project, it was like, oh, you need to put a show together for college bands? Absolutely. Oh, it's gonna be virtual. We need choreography for the band, the color guard, the dance line, the kick line, the palm. I was like, I have my palms ready to go. So it was just a great opportunity to kind of give back to these young artists, because I myself came from band. And I worked my way. I went through the color guard. I started taking dance classes. I went into the commercial dance field. So for me to be able to come back and give back to these kids, I think was super important. I have been choreographing with the Santa Clara Vanguard the past few years, and with Paramount Winterguard. And I also work with professional artists out here in Miami. So these days I opened up a camp called the Breakdown Camp, and it's strictly movement for musicians. I think the activity is moving a certain direction, and it's important that we educate the younger performers and younger musicians to not be scared of dancing. So yeah, the Breakdown Camp.
Yeah. That breakdown, you guys were like killing it over the summer, just like putting out stuff. And I think you're right. Like, it does evolve. The activity is changing, so you do need this sort of foundations. It's not just a roll step anymore that are the fundamentals of marching bands, and our activity. Lexi, so here's in my former life, I marched with a twirling group, and that was my aunt and uncle. Shout out to the Blazers from back in the day. And so my cousin, who's a world-renowned twirler, I messaged her and I said, I have this amazing guy, Michael Rosales. He's phenomenal. I could do all of this stuff. I need a twirler. And she was like, you need to talk to Lexi. And I was like, okay. And then Lexi came in. So Lexi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi, everyone. I'm Lexi Duda. I have been a competitive baton twirler pretty much since I could walk. I have competed internationally and nationally the last 22 years of my life, basically.
So since before you were born.
Yeah, basically since before I was born, it was already set for me. I was twirling. I just finished 4 years twirling for the University of Maryland, the Mighty Sound of Maryland, so go Terps. I am now a videographer, or a video editor at Fox 45 News in Baltimore, which I absolutely love. I was a broadcast journalism major, but I'm still coaching to this day, and I love choreographing. So when Jeremy reached out about this, I of course said yes right away. I was like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but I'm for it. Let's see what happens. So
I think, Lexi, you didn't realize. I think even after you choreographed it and sent in the choreography, you still didn't fully understand what you had gotten into.
And I was getting messages from my baton friends, and they're like, "Hey, I've seen you on the video," and I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, I didn't know who all was doing this. I was like, "This is so awesome." So of course, every time that I heard more about it and people reached out to me about it, I was like, "Wait. I didn't know I was getting myself into something this cool." Like, I knew it was cool, but so I was so excited about getting into it.
So Scott, to get you back in here, because I think that this is a good conversation for sort of this design team to have, as this. So walk a little bit through, Scott, because there was some debate choosing the music. So choosing the song obviously is extremely, extremely important from the get-go, right? So what does that mean? When Mark and Barry reached out to you, what did they say, and what was the process?
Well, I think we first started talking about what things can we find in the public domain that we're going to be able to do nationally for copyright reasons. And so we were thinking of some patriotic tunes and some spirituals and various old music, and thought we could make that happen. But it kind of seems to be the patriotic thing is a very typical thing. And thought, well, maybe let's do something that maybe can connect with even more people, and just be more fun and just celebrational. And you know, what's more fun than Beyonce? And we just kind of, Mark said Beyonce, and I'm like, I'm in. It sounds great. Chuck and I happened to write a show at the University of Michigan a few years ago where it was an all Beyonce show, and she actually agreed to come on and do a video and set up the halftime show on the big screens in the big house. And
we're still putting it out there, right? We're still putting it out there for Beyonce to find us.
Come on, Beyonce.
So anybody that's watching right now, go and tweet at Beyonce. Tell her there are 1,500 people that are like ready to, you know, get her back at the end of time. Like, we are here. We are ready.
And she clearly enjoyed being a part of that, and you know, and clearly enjoyed the fact that a marching band's playing her music. So, you know, it just seemed like the right decision.
And how did you land on this song in particular?
You know, it happened to be one of the tunes that Chuck and I wrote for the Michigan band, and it was kind of a shorter version of it, and we thought, you know, this thing just seems to have just a great groove, something I think all these musicians from across the country could just lock into and just set down. We thought it might be some of it. Her music is highly rhythmic and kind of shuffle, almost swing stuff, and that's a little harder to put together. So we took into consideration the style of the tune, and we just thought we could beef it up and make it something even more spectacular, add some more percussion features, add some more front ensemble music, and beef up the ending and just make it a bigger hit.
So Chuck, have you seen any preview of what we're about to show later today?
I have, and I was blown away. It's pretty cool seeing so many people playing music that you wrote. It's just incredible. So I'm really excited to be a part of this.
One of the things I think that, and I keep wanting to like reaffirm this with people, is this conscious decision by us to show as many faces and have as many people on as possible. The other thing that was interesting, and I think that this leads to some design choices, I think, that Dr. Speed was very, there for, was this idea of having, like, again, that rival marching band, even though there are no rivals, on the screen at the same time. You know, that idea of pushing and pulling against them, I think, was really, really, really important. But to talk about of course, my favorite part, which was kind of funny, because the first call that we had, all the people that are the founding people of this are all music people. So when it came time, I was like, okay, well, what is this going to look like, and how is this going to go? And and Dr. Speed was like, well, you're the color guard person on the call. You handle that. And so I was like, oh, okay. So now I have to talk to Michael. So Michael, what was that first? Tell everyone what our first conversation was sort of like, and how that went.
Oh, well, first of all, Beyonce, I was like, okay, I mean, we cannot go wrong. We cannot mess this up. It was actually a lot of fun, you know, like when we sat on the call and talked about, all right, this is the music. Let's put some time markers here. This is where the drum break is. Okay, the drum break, that's where the band's going to have to dance. You know, we have to do a little feature, and kind of pulling all the different entities that you would normally see in a college band. So everything from the color guard to the dance line. So it's kind of just slotting them, in different parts of the music. But obviously you can't show everyone. It kind of sucked that I can only write 32 counts of a dance phrase and 32 counts of a flag phrase. But at the same time, it was important that we include as many of these entities as possible and make sure that, they're all being seen.
I think that was probably our first even initial challenge, because like you talk about, the instruments and figuring out the parts, or figuring out the percussion parts. Okay, there's going to be this bass drum and, this saxophone and this. And Michael and I's first thing was like, well, who do we include? Like, do we have, there's so many visual elements, and marching bands on the visual side are so, especially college bands, are so vastly different. Like Lexi, you could tell us, like, there's like twirlers and feature twirlers and majorettes, and those are different than, tell us a little bit.
Yeah, so it really depends on the school that you're at, because especially like if you go more down south, you're going to find majorette lines as well as feature twirlers. But if you're up north, it's a little bit more feature twirlers. So it kind of depends on, obviously, you picking a school can go either way kind of thing. So I know when I was choosing my school, I did want to be a feature twirler, because that's like what I've dreamed of my entire life. The difference is you would twirl more individually, even if there's multiple of you that are feature twirlers at a school. You would do selective stuff together, but you still get your full individuality. But when you're on a majorette line, it's more of a team aspect. So kind of everybody twirls together and you do the same tricks and the same timing of everything. There's nice ripples that come in, of course, visual effects and stuff like that. But it is very different experiences, but I've heard great things from both. So it's totally up to the person with what they want to go with when they're going to college.
Yeah. What would you say, Chuck? I know that there's a lot of people watching and being a percussionist that has been involved with the college band for a while. What are you looking for when someone's coming to audition or, that want to come to that university? What advice would you give them, to the people that are watching that are probably in high school or what have you, about this?
I'm always looking for just strong fundamentals, and teachability. Some of the most successful players I've seen come through, and actually, I was just talking to somebody recently about this. I'll give you an example. Our assistant drumline instructor at Michigan had never played in a drumline before he arrived at Michigan, and picked it up really quickly because he had strong fundamentals. So we're just looking for, when I was hired at the position, I was told we're looking for great people and great players, but in that order, and just a willingness to learn and adapt. And you don't have to play snare for 4 years or something at your high school to be successful at the college level. You just having a good sense of time and a great attitude and be willing to learn and absorb.
Yeah. What was there anything within the music, Scott, that you took out or knew immediately we couldn't do? Or what was because this is obviously different, right? Because these kids had to learn this through, and by the way, everyone, these people here produce their choreography and their, written vocabulary, produce the music and everything in like no time. By no time, I mean no time. And the kids then learned all of this stuff in even less time than that. So, it's a test, and it looks and sounds good. So that's why I'm asking this, because I want you to sort of explain the decision-making process, Scott. We could go from you and then maybe to Michael on the choreography side to say, what decisions do you make when you know that there are limits, I guess?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's impossible to know the level of player that was going to be a part of this. I had an inkling we're going to get some really strong players, and the directors nominated these students. So directors aren't going to nominate students that can't play their instruments or move well. So I knew going in we were going to have some real talented students. So I just wanted to make sure that every single part had something meaty, something to bite into for every student. Nothing worse than a marching band arrangement that the trumpets are the only people that get the melody, and the tubas are just playing quarter notes through or whole notes through the whole thing. So my goal was to give every student that participated something fun to play, and I knew they could handle the challenge.
Were you thinking that way, Chuck, when you went down to write it then?
Yeah, we wanted to make it accessible for everyone. When we originally wrote this, I don't know when, Scott, was that 2013?
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant for this project, which
we knew this
like
was coming.
In some ways. Yeah.
I revamped the parts a little bit, and in consultation with Scott and Mark, we wanted to make include a lot of different styles, but still keep the groove and the pulse throughout the piece. We didn't want to make it too esoteric in the rhythms. We wanted all wind players and the color guard and auxiliary to all be able to feel the groove throughout the piece. And we wanted we don't have a front ensemble at University of Michigan, so we wanted to add some parts there for the front ensemble players, so that they had for bands that do have those instruments were able to perform in this as well. So we want to make it all inclusive and very accessible to a wide variety of styles in the percussion department.
Yeah. So Michael, then you get the music. Actually, I think we started deciding things before we even had the music. Like we were just like going off of like guessing. And but then you get the music, we have the breakdown, and then you start to choreograph. How do you go through that?
Same idea. It was important that we get a good balance of, showing that, hey, there's skills in this, but at the same time, it's going to be fun and, exciting for them to perform in a short amount of time to be able to pick it up. Obviously the dance stuff, it just needed to be fun. It's Beyonce, little hair whip in there, little hips. That's easy. For the color guard, it was a little bit more of like, okay, I have to strategically look at where we put some of these things. If I'm going to do a toss, I want them to have the option to go, okay, you can do a triple, quad, or a 5. Just everyone is coming from different backgrounds and different techniques. So it's important to kind of take a look at the balance of where that is.
Yeah, I think, did we decide, Michael, in our first call? I can't remember. I'm trying to decide where we knew that there was going to be a percussion break. And I was like, no, we need band choreography. What can you remember? What was that?
I think that was in the very beginning. We knew we needed to have the band dance, and the fact that I don't have to transition their horns down, which means they can already have their hands free. It was like we have to take advantage of that. They don't have to carry their horns right now, because that's probably the thing I dread the most is when a band goes, okay, we need to dance in this feature. I'm like, what do I do with this tuba?
How fast can I get it out of my hand?
Right. So we were able to just go right away into choreography.
Yeah, and I think it was, I will say, like, when you all see this, when you all see the final product, the band movement is really good. Like, as soon as I saw, like, what it was, like, in what Michael choreographed and started seeing the kids learn it, and they kind of started making it their own, I was like, this is exactly what this was. I think within it, you all will see that it immediately captures, like, the spirit of what this entire project is it is just, like, a fun, spirited, happy thing. It isn't about competing. It isn't about showing off, even though I think, and Lexi, you could certainly speak to this in a second, even though I think that some of those featured twirlers, they were definitely trying to show off. Did you see some of that?
I loved watching them kind of put their beginning of the routine. In the beginning of the routine, I loved seeing them put their little bit of twist on it, and at the end some too. I loved seeing that for sure. That was probably one of my favorite parts about like the twirler part.
Oh my god, like feature twirlers are amazing. Lexi did an entire series. Lexi also has a series called Twirl Around the World with Lexi on Style Plus TV. You can go and see that, where she did an amazing interview series with all the Big Ten twirlers, which is like a first and pretty like spectacular to have everybody, to have on there. So that also then inspired us to do a lot of other roundtables, to talk to a lot of other people and kids that were members of the band, and just create this larger community. So we really, really are super appreciative of all of you as designers coming into this at like literally like a moment's notice. It was like, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this, and we needed it like 3 weeks ago. And you guys just all did it. And you've all been really supportive the entire time since. It wasn't as if you all dropped off your choreography at the door and then were like, bye, see you later. You've been involved, and we really appreciate it. As a matter of fact, Lexi, you're coming back in just a few minutes to host the second hour of our little preview tailgate party. So I'm really thankful for you all, guys and ladies, to have joined us today. Thank you very much. I hope we all get to do this again, maybe in person sometime. That always seems to be a possibility. But up next, we're going to hear, we are going to, coming up, we have an exclusive interview between our GPG representative, Steve, who you met earlier, and one of our current IMB members, as they will discuss the process of how it was to go through the OVE experience. So we'd like to say a little thank you to our sponsors, Halftime Magazine, to thank Guard Closet over here, Traysona, which we would not be able to be doing the Beyonce song if Traysona had not come through and sponsored the copyrights for that. So thank you to them, and OVE. So we'll see you all in just a minute. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's great to see you. Thanks again for sticking with us. And wasn't that a great segment with our design team? Thank you, Jeremy, for leading that and talking a great deal about how this process has come together. As we look at this next segment, we've got some special words, certainly from our student perspective, as we're looking at the student interview here with our great lead sponsor, Steve Martin of GPG Music. And again, as you heard, Steve is behind, again, much of the work of putting this great performance together in terms of the video editing. So we're going to bring Steve into the mix here for this great interview that we have here with Sam.
All right. Very good to meet you, Sam. It's I've seen your face already, as I've seen lots of faces. And just real quick before we get started, I want to just piggyback on all the conversations with the designers, because I got to enjoy all of that work for hours and hours and hours. I got to enjoy the amazing music, the amazing choreography, and the amazing performances by all of these students. I think one of the things that gets lost, and I'm going to ask you how you feel about, well, actually, I'm going to just ask you how you feel about it. Just give me like your top level, how it felt to be put in the position to do this thing, to learn this music, to sit down and play it into a screen without anybody next to you on either side, and you're not on a field. How was it?
Well, it was incredible. I thought it was so incredibly cool to have the opportunity to do this. When my director told me, Dr. Trey Harris, when he told me that I had the chance to do this, I'm like, absolutely, I would love to. And our season was obviously impacted, as everyone else's was, and we didn't get a chance to perform at any home games. And having this chance to perform with thousands of other members from across the country is just super amazing, and I'm super grateful for this opportunity.
It's kind of like the ultimate away game, huh?
Oh, absolutely. It's the ultimate bowl game.
Right. And it really is. That's great. So as we have built the system that you used, our virtual ensemble classroom and system that you used to make the recording, to learn the music and make the recording, what were your thoughts on that? I mean, things that struck you one way or another?
Yeah. Overall, the software was incredibly easy to use. I found it very intuitive. I had never used a software like this before. I came from a high school that wasn't competition based. We just played for people in the stands, and so this type of software was something I had never used before. But it was extremely easy. The toughest part of the whole ordeal was actually finding a tuba to play, because we had put them all away.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
But
absolutely.
I had my laptop for the software. I had my phone set up to record myself. I had my music printed off, and it was very easy. I just followed all the steps, and it took care of the rest.
That's great to hear. Obviously, it's gratifying to hear that it was successful, and I'm sure that all of us are different people, and there's things we liked and things that maybe didn't feel as comfortable. But I'm going to ask the question I asked earlier a little bit more pointedly. How does it feel to be playing in a marching band when there's nobody in the room with you?
It was odd. I mean, we've done obviously sectional work before with like our section. This year we had a lot of sectional work, but it was very interesting to hear the rest of your band in your ear and not have them standing right next to you. And you're trying to fix things yourself instead of having the feedback from everyone else in your section and your student staff and your director. So there was a lot of tinkering with how I learned the music, but it was a positive experience for sure.
Yeah. It's one of the things that we've tried really hard to do is to make that experience as comfortable as possible. If we think about what we're asking you to do, it's like being on the field with a mic clipped to your bell, and everybody around you has mics clipped to their bell, and every single person's sound is going to be heard. And it's things like, I'm a trumpet player, and you know what? I want to delay out those 3 bars so I could play the last note or whatever. I can't do that. I didn't do the video, but this is how I was. It's how I still am. But so, you don't want to have that thing where you're just on the screen going, I'm just going to lay off for a little bit. So I know that's challenging, and as college students, that's challenging. And it's blown me away as we've done all of these other projects for high schools, middle schools, orchestras, choirs, to see the level that it took everybody to step up and how many of them really did that. And so I think you should feel good about that. I think everybody that did this, I mean, most of those other projects are working on, those people have 4 or 6 weeks to get through learning the piece and make their recording. I don't think we even had 7 days for you guys for the instrumentalists. Like we managed to get the visual elements a little bit more time because they needed it. But so I mean, congratulations to you. You should feel great about that, and I hope everybody in your program is proud of you. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity so much. It was extremely positive, and I know that this is something I'll look back on and say, hey, I was part of the first IMB, and that's something I'll cherish forever. And I appreciate the opportunity extremely much.
Yeah, well, we're glad you did it, and we're glad so many people from all around the country stepped up to do so. It's pretty awesome. And I would be remiss if I didn't say, you can tell your director that he can do a virtual ensemble with us too, and all the other students that are out there watching, that we would love to help you guys do this. I mean, yes, it's our business, and yes, we want to be able to pay my employees and stay open, which as a music publisher got pretty hard to do for a while. But I want everybody that has the need or the desire to get to experience this, to make music together again virtually, but to really, be part of your ensemble again after being apart for so many months right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Thanks so much for your time, Sam, and sharing your thoughts on this. And Steve, certainly again, it's a great program that you're doing and spreading so much goodness for so many programs that have been sidelined and not been able to do this. Western Michigan University, one of the great marching bands out there. So Sam, thanks again for joining us. And Steve, thanks for that great interview. Up next, we have some special words from some of your very own members during some of our intercollegiate roundtables, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. We've asked members to give tips and advice to anyone looking to audition for that next level, whatever that may be for you, college, drum corps, or any other indoor group. So let's listen to what all they have to say, and thanks again for joining us for this segment.
Biggest piece of advice about going into any group, whether it's high school marching band, any sort of WGI, indoor stuff, any sort of drum corps, is simple open-mindedness and a positive attitude.
Stick with it because it will be your family.
Having an open mind is definitely one of the top things that you should probably have.
To go out there and be ready to fail.
Don't be afraid to have fun. Yourself out there, because the lessons that you learn through band are going to help you throughout your life.
Just go for it, to give it a try. If you're hesitating, if you think like, oh, it might be too much commitment, or I'm not sure this is what I want to do, just give it a try. Give yourself that opportunity, because you don't want to regret it later.
Just don't be afraid to go for opportunities, just everywhere, honestly.
You just have to take the risk. I mean, if you want to do a leadership position or a solo or some kind of thing, an audition, an interview, just go for it. I mean, the worst that they can say is no, and you have a learning experience. You have, you've shown your director that you have an intent to go do something, that you want to be a drum major. So if you don't get it the first year, try again the next year.
To not compare yourself to other people. Because it's easy for me to look at any of you all and I see, oh my gosh, she can do that, and I know I can't, but everybody has their own style, their own technique, their own level. So it's only best for you to be your best self and to continue to push yourself. So maybe you could look like that, but don't compare yourself and then shut down.
To start off, there's always going to be challenges, no matter what group you join. Whether you go to college, you don't, whether you stay in the marching band or you don't, there's always going to be challenges along the road that you're just going to have to power through. And as a result, you become a stronger human being as a result of it.
Take every single opportunity that you have to be a part of your ensemble, because you have no idea where that's going to take you. If you have different small group opportunities or little outreach type of things that you can be a part of, go do it.
It's a great way to meet new people with similar interests, and I can guarantee that a lot of my lifelong friends are coming from college marching band and just that experience, because you spend so much time together and you're all working towards the same goal.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I guess it's my turn to be back up at bat again. I am joined now by the hosts of our second hour, Lexi, who we've already met previously in the design table as our lead twirler designer. We have Brian Kuhn with us. Say hello, Brian. Brian is on the West Coast. He's going to talk about a little bit about himself in just a second. We're going to get to know all of you, but the other guy on this call is probably one of the most important performers of the IMB. This is Moises, and he is our lead drum major. So when you guys watch this, there's so many exciting things with this video I just cannot tell you. And one of the things we knew we wanted was, a drum major to like lead this out. And when we started discussing it, it sort of became like a no-brainer, right? And then Moises turned in this like just phenomenal performance, and he explained it all to us the other night on our secret member Zoom call. And I was like, I immediately texted Carl. I immediately said to Carl, who's producing this show right now, I said, Carl, we have to get Moises on the virtual tailgate. He's like amazing. Like he has to be a part of it. So welcome, Moises. Welcome to the team. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. It's amazing. It's an amazing opportunity to lead this band. Like, it's crazy. Thank you again.
Yeah. So what was it? What did you think when you first got that like initial like, oh hey, we need you to do this?
So it was crazy. The director at Illinois, he had called Dr. Chipman, my band director at FAMU, and he was saying he wanted to have the drum major march down the 50, call attention, do this, do that, and just have it out and send it to them as soon as possible. I was like, wow. And then it was just crazy how it all came about. So a couple of days later, had the team out for the band, film, record, and out it went. And
did you get to see it? You haven't seen it yet, have you?
I have not seen it. I have not seen what you guys put together, but I just know the raw footage is good. But it'll be new to me too.
Yeah. Lexi, you've gotten a sneak peek, right? Like you've gotten a little like taste, but you haven't seen Moises, right? Have you seen Moises?
Not yet. I saw the rest of it and I was blown away. So I can only imagine when that's attached to it too, how much more amazing that it'll get.
Yeah. Now, Brian, you kind of got involved in this in sort of a roundabout way, so we could just be, fully transparent out there, everyone. Brian is one of our hosts and part of our Style Plus TV family. He does a lot of stuff for us over at Style Plus TV, as does Lexi. And we wanted to invite you in as a former college performer. Brian, many of you may know Brian from other places, but Brian did go to college. Tell them, Brian, where did you go?
Yes, I did. I actually got my degree. I went to college at Arizona State University on a Special Talent Award scholarship for the Sun Devil Marching Band.
That's amazing. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about your entire journey in just a second. But are you guys like ready for this second hour? Like I'm a little nervous passing it off to you. I don't know why. I've been like a little freaked out this whole time, I guess. I'm usually behind the camera, and so it's a little awkward being on the side for me, I guess. Although I'm sure my husband's sitting upstairs completely disagreeing with that statement. But
we're excited. We're good.
We're excited. Yeah, we're pumped.
This is okay. A long time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it has been. So you guys are going to take a lot of questions. You're going to talk to a lot of students about this in the next hour to get us all ramped up and ready to go. But for now, I'm going to throw it to one of our roundtables. So we had several roundtables that Brian interviewed. Lexi did some, as well as another host of ours, Erica Plez from Beyond the Color on Style Plus TV. And they all interviewed different parts of the band. So this one that we're about to show is the woodwind section. Did one of you do the woodwinds?
Nah.
I did.
Oh, not the woodwinds, the winds. I'm sorry. I even got that clarification.
I interviewed them. They're a good bunch.
Good. So we're going to throw it over to the woodwind roundtable. So you guys will be joining us back on the live show right after this.
My name's Brian Kuhn. I live in California, and I am alumni from Arizona State University Marching Band. I was on a 4-year scholarship for doing their color guard, and so I got to spin and perform and get my college degree while having a great time with the Sun Devil Marching Band.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Hess. I'm a trumpet player at Emporia State University here in Kansas. I am studying music education, and this is my 4th year here. And this year I became the section leader of the trumpet section, and it's been really awesome.
Hello, my name's James Boston. I am currently a junior. I'm a double major in finance accounting at the University of Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm also a trumpet player, so good to see another trumpet player, Caitlin. In this past season, I served as the president of the University of Pittsburgh Band Council for our past season, and was a squad leader in the trumpet section. So looking forward to spending some time with you guys today.
My name's Adam Elmer. I am a 3rd-year music education and trumpet performance major at the University of North Texas. I play trumpet. We already got 3 in a row. But this past season, I was just a member of the marching band. I did a little bit of the screaming stuff, high notes, very fun.
My name is Alex, and I am from Grand Valley State University, part of the Laker Marching Band, which is in Michigan, West Michigan. And I am a 3rd-year student majoring in communication studies and behavioral neuroscience. And this past year has been pretty good. I play the clarinet, so sorry to break the trumpet streak, but I'm a woodwind player, and I was also one of the section leaders this past year, and it was really interesting, but I really enjoyed our 2020 despite all the craziness, and I'm excited to be here.
My name is Amrutha Murthy. I am a 3rd-year flute performance and music education double major at the University of North Texas, so obligatory go Mean Green for that one. But I'm not going to break the woodwind or brass tradition because I did play mellophone in the stands for the past couple of years, so that counts for game day. I currently, with our marching band, I'm the student assistant for operations and logistics, so that's like a total admin role of like assistant band directoring type things, but it was really fun to see all the stuff come to light, especially in 2020, and yes, Adam was a screamer, and he was really good at it, so shout out to Adam.
Hey everyone, so my name is Sam Longstreth. I'm currently a senior at Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo, Michigan, in the same state as Alex there. I am a senior tuba player. I served as the drill instructor this past year. Outside of band, I serve as the public address announcer for the WMU baseball team. So that's a fun little thing about me, but it's super exciting to be here and I appreciate it.
Sounds wonderful. I'm really excited to have you all here. It sounds like you guys are great leaders, and I can't wait to dive into more. So let's continue. How long have you been in marching band, and what made you want to stay or basically start being in that marching band?
I started marching band in high school. Like most people, we start marching your sophomore year of high school. And then I've continued on. I just really love the aspect of performing and the fun music you get to play. It's different than any other band. And so this would make it my 7th year just doing marching band, and it's been a great time.
Yeah, similar to Caitlin, I started marching band in high school. We started marching freshman year. Always been a great time. I started playing trumpet in 4th grade. So when I got to high school, it was just kind of, something I wanted to do. I loved playing my trumpet and wanted to get involved with marching band because it was another music thing to get involved with. And in college, I wanted to march as well, but I actually was a little bit hesitant at first. But when I came out of the tunnels for the first time at Heinz Field with the marching band, that was what really solidified my decision and made me feel like that was where I wanted to be on the field marching again, because the atmosphere in college I felt was just completely different than high school marching band. I feel like you're surrounded by people who love it so much more and care about it so much more. And it was just a culture that I knew I wanted to be a part of, and a group of great people that I wanted to be involved with too for my college experience. So 3 years in college as well, it's been great.
I have been in marching band for 7 years as well now. I started playing the clarinet when I was really young, but I can definitely relate to James's point. It was basically all of the great things and the enjoyable things from high school and more. Very, very serious, and but my first freshman year experiences of college in the marching band, so how freshman year in college began with marching band, those are what solidified everything for me as well. I enjoyed what we did, and I decided I wanted to continue with it as long as I could in college. And the other thing is not being a music major or minor. I was really glad that my school had a marching band, this cool program that could involve me in music and performing, despite not being a music major. So, yeah.
I've been in marching band. We just finished up my 8th year, so it's been a long time running since high school. The reason I've just always loved marching band is just like back in high school, I always had that sense of community. Most of my friends were in the trumpet section. I had a couple friends outside, and like just always the feeling of being at game days, while we're not mainly like the main attraction, we definitely add on to the experience of, you know, spectators or the team on the field. And just overall, I just like the aspect of being able to perform for a whole crowd of people in a football stadium, at a UIL regional, just lots of different performing opportunities. And me personally, I just like experiencing every single aspect of performing, whether it be marching band, jazz, concert, orchestra, even like big band stuff. Just I like performing, and I want to do it as long as I can.
I started marching band similarly to everyone, like freshman year of high school, and I came from a primarily orchestral and soloistic background. Like I was a pianist for a very long time, and I really thought that's what I wanted to do with my life. But entering marching band as a small little freshman flute player, it offered that sense of camaraderie that I never really experienced anywhere else in a group setting. And it was great, like through all the competitive aspects of high school, and just like Adam had said, performing for a large crowd on a Friday night football game, traveling with the group, it really gave me a sense of belonging outside my own soloistic endeavors. And even in college, the Green Brigade, you know, has more than 400 people on any given year. So it's just that massive wall of sound that you just hear the first time we play like a concert F on the field. And even within that large group, there's just so many smaller communities that can be explored. And I really love the direction that the group is going in the coming years. So that just makes me really excited to come back.
Similarly to everyone, I started marching band in high school. I absolutely loved it, and I knew it was something that I wanted to do come college. I grew up watching Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, and all their marching bands, and I thought, oh my gosh, I would love to be a part of that and be on the field. I'm a huge sports fan, and there's nothing like watching a football game in the band. Nothing like it. You're the one controlling the energy, and all that in the stands, and that is just so much fun. And like everyone else said, being a part of a family essentially. When I came to school, didn't know anybody, and the tubas embraced me, open arms. They're some of my closest friends. I live in a tuba house now with 3 other tubas here in Kalamazoo, and it's just great. I love my experience, but yeah, nothing like being in the stands as a member of the band during a football game in a packed house. Nothing like it.
So nice to meet all of you, and I'm glad we got to chat, and I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your day. So looking forward to more. All right. Well, welcome back. We are so happy that we got to share that WINS roundtable with you. I know I had a great time getting to talk with everyone there. Now we're going to take some time to introduce ourselves, your hosts. And personally, my name is Brian Kuhn. I am a Northern California native. I graduated from Arizona State University. And like I had just mentioned before, I got to be a part of the Pride of the Southwest Sun Devil Marching Band under the direction of James G. Hudson. I really enjoyed my time with ASU. It's proven to be one of the best experiences of my life being in the college marching band. And to this day, there's nothing like the sound of a loud, huge marching band, especially in college. So, you know, I've been getting to see a lot of what's coming together today for you. We're really excited to share it. There's just so much that we want to cover. So enough about me. I want to pass it along to our other hosts. And first and foremost, I want to introduce to you Lexi Duda. And Lexi's going to talk about herself. And so the time is now. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lexi Duda. I was on here a little bit earlier. As I mentioned, I'm a recent University of Maryland graduate. I graduated with a degree in broadcast journalism. I've been a competitive baton twirler my entire life. While I was at Maryland, I was also the feature twirler for 4 years there. I've competed both nationally and internationally since I was, I believe, 8. I love that adventure so much. Although I don't compete anymore, I am a coach for Wheaton Dance Twirl Teams, which is the team that I grew up competing with. I am also a choreographer for IMB, which was an incredible experience, and I loved it. With my journalism degree, I work at Fox 45 News in Baltimore as a news editor, which I'm absolutely loving and learning so much from. And I now work also with Style Plus with my series Twirl Around the World, which is super exciting as well. I get to use all of my journalism skills that I was taught and put it to good use. And I finally get to experience that a little bit more. And I absolutely love talking with all the twirlers from all over. The first episode that we did was with the Big Ten featured twirlers, because the Big Ten is the only conference where they had every single school represented in the IMB, which was insane. And they had every featured twirler represented from each Big Ten school that had featured twirlers. So getting to do that roundtable was amazing. I was a former, since Maryland was in the Big Ten, I was a former Big Ten twirler, and I absolutely loved my 4 years there. I loved performing at basketball games, football games, anything in between. And so I really wanted to take that time to kind of bring all the traditions together of the Big Ten and kind of share that with everybody, because there's a lot of times where you don't get to hear about all of that as much as you should. So that honestly has been one of my favorite tables that are like little round table discussions that I've done for twirlers, just because everybody can kind of see, since Big Ten's all across the US, everybody can see a little bit from each different region and see how special each school is. So I'm gonna pass it off.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. I didn't even think about how much of an impact that makes on getting everyone together like that. And kudos to you for getting that done. So thanks for sharing all that. Also, shout out to Baltimore. So cool that you get to work in that news station. So, you know, I'm going to pass it on to our awesome other host. His name is Moises Martinez. Moises, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Yes, thank you, Brian. My name is Moises Martinez. I am a fourth-year environmental studies student from Hollywood, Florida. I currently attend Florida A&M University. I was born and raised in Broward County. I came up to Tallahassee 2017. I started marching band fall 17. There, my freshman year, I became the freshman sec, and then continued on. I played euphonium in that section. It wasn't until my sophomore year where I auditioned to audition for the role of drum major, and I made it that year. And as 2019, and until starting after that next year, I served as the head drum major. Some things about myself: I currently am the house manager for one of the scholarship houses up here in Tallahassee. There's over 15 houses here on the hill, and it's an amazing opportunity to be over here at the school. I'm going to be graduating in the fall of 2020, and I'm just ready to start my career.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. You know, I realize now I didn't really share much about me. I just kind of like introduced So I'd like to tell you a little bit more about me as well. So I went to Arizona State University and got my degree in interdisciplinary studies, which is like a hybrid degree of concentrations in business and biology, so people and business. And I get to work with Amazon these days, working on getting into their transportation and logistics, and just kind of utilize what I know to help people help people. I was a huge committed color guard performer. So I performed since I was 15 in drum corps at the Sacramento Mandarins, and then I did 6 years at the Concord Blue Devils. I have 4 DCI World Championships in that time frame and 2 silver medals that I am only able to have because of the teams that I worked with and got to be a part of. And so I've had an incredible journey. I got to do the world-class winterguard with Phoenix Independent, represented by the athletics at Arizona State University, which you don't get often. And so our athletics at Arizona State was the biggest reason why we were able to get someone like James G. Hudson to lead us and direct us into being one of the top 5 collegiate marching bands in the nation. And it was just an incredible experience. And ASU taught me so much about how to be a good person and a wholesome person for moments like this, and being able to communicate in bull trips, or bull games, I should say, because a lot of those moments were meeting people like from a university you've never been to. And today we're combining nearly 200. So this is like the biggest opportunity we've ever had to all come together and represent something that we love. So I'm really excited for all of us to see that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited to see this video. Like, I've only seen just the beginning of it. Have you guys seen much of it?
I've seen a little bit of it, and it's incredible. So I can't wait for everybody else to see the rest of it and see it all come together. There's still a little bit of parts that I have not seen yet, like Moises's intro. I haven't seen any of that. So I'm super excited to see that. I know he was talking about it a little bit earlier, but I'm sure he could tell us a little bit about that process, how cool that was.
Yeah, so the process, I was there on a Sunday afternoon. It was beautiful, beautiful skies. It was just me out there and the cameraman, and we just run through our Bring It On sequence. Bringing it on, as per the family band, is one of the traditions that we have, where we had the whole band in a snake formation and then rattle onto the field. And the drum majors have their own sequence where they come in, come down, bow to the crowd, bow to each other, go down, split, and then everybody comes in. The whole band just rattles onto the field. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. I remember my first time seeing the family band do that. It was just crazy. The crowd was just roaring. It was beautiful.
There's nothing like entering a field for the first time, and once you do it one time, you get that same feeling over and over again. That anticipation builds.
Yeah, I can agree with you guys, and thank you so much for sharing all of that. I can't wait to keep chatting with you more. And now that you all know who we are and a little bit more about us, we just want to bring on and take some time for our awesome team leads via social media, because without these people, you guys, a lot of what you're seeing and what you've seen on social media would not be possible. I'm talking fundraising, press releases, websites. So much work went into this, and we're just so thankful. So stay tuned. And we'll be right back with just a few of our team leads, and we'll discuss their involvement in this incredible project. On this break, if you want to make sure that you are putting questions out for us to answer for you, go ahead and just comment or tweet them, and you can use the hashtag on Twitter, hashtag CFB Virtual Halftime, and the Intercollegiate MB is our handle. So we will see you all in a couple minutes, and we'll be right back.
The Intercollegiate Marching Band fundraising team began their efforts in November to raise $40,000. This fundraiser was an integral part of making this incredible endeavor possible. Thanks to our corporate partners and individual donors, the hashtag IMB family has raised over $35,000, only $5,000 away from our goal. Head over to our website, cbdna-imb.com, for more information on how to join the IMB family.
All right, thank you for that break. We're back here, and this time we're here to introduce to you the team that is behind the scenes making this all possible. And so, without further ado, I'd first and foremost like to thank all of you for putting in so much time and effort into this incredible project. I am completely, like all of the rest of us, blown away by the incredible, beautiful things that we're getting to see today. So I'd like to start with the ladies. And first and foremost, let's go ahead and hear from Maeve. Maeve, why don't you introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit about your involvement in this project?
Absolutely. I'm Maeve St. Ange. I am a junior at Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, where I am the color guard captain. And with the IMB, I have been doing all of the spotlight posts. So all of the posts that feature all of our members, where they're from, what instrument they play, that you've been seeing on our Instagram and our Facebook. I have been in charge of coordinating all of those, posting them, and creating them. I've had a great team of people helping me with that. So shout out to the Spotlight team, you know who you are. Could not do it without them. And I'm really glad to see all of the positive feedback that they've been giving. And just to see how far they've gone and how much they've grown on Instagram.
Yeah, you know, like just as an Instagram lover, Maeve has done a great job with her team on just really getting the word out there. I mean, in the short amount of time that it's existed virtually, publicly, it's just been exponential growth. So thank you to you and your team. All right, let's go ahead and introduce to you all Miss Hadley Deputy. Hadley, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Hadley Deputy. I'm a junior at Old Dominion University here in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm studying graphic design and marketing. And for the IMB, I was part of Color Guard, and I'm also part of the Color Guard here for the Monarch Marching Band. For the teams, I'm the student team lead of the logistics team. We went through all of the people who signed up and submitted stuff, and then we matched them with video submissions to find out just who all actually submitted stuff. It was really cool. I had a really great team. I also am on the web team and the PR team, which total fun. I've never built a website before, and it was insane to do that.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. I literally do not know how. But I hope that you guys had a great time because it looks amazing, like jaw-dropping, incredible. Great job. All of the things that you've done. Thank you. And your team. So moving on with our next team lead, Miss Hayden Klein. Hayden,
Hi, I'm Hayden. I am a senior from Rutgers University. I am in color guard. It's interesting. I used to say this would have been my 8th year doing band, but I can actually say this is my 8th year doing band. So that's really fun. So yeah, I'm from Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And I am the student PR lead. So I've been getting to work with Christine Katzman, which has been really fun. And we've been helping reach out to news outlets. I have an amazing team that has just been nonstop communicating with everybody everywhere. So it's been really fun. So yeah, I have a really good team. I'm really glad to work with them.
Yeah, you guys produce some amazing stuff out there. Okay, and Mr. Nicholas, can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your involvement and who you are with this project?
Yeah, so I'm Nick. I am a recent grad from Temple University. I majored in Management Information Systems, and I am a trumpet player at the Temple University Diamond Marching Band. I am the web team lead, and I was in charge of revamping the IMB website, combining everything that all the team leads have been doing into one area, and it's been a fantastic experience working with my team. And as everyone has seen, Hadley is also part of my team as well. So quick shout out to my team for doing an amazing job so far.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is all behind the scenes stuff, and you all will see the end result of these hard working people, but these teams have been putting it to their most important level of basically work every single day, and it has been an incredible outcome because of it. So last but not least, one of the main reasons why we are all sitting here right now is because of Mr. Carl Walden. So Carl, can you please introduce to everyone who you are and your involvement with this project?
Hi, yes. My name is Carl Walden. I am a sophomore music education major at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, UAB. And I am the team lead for the programming team. We did some of the roundtables. We set up all those, and we edited through those that you saw earlier, and also producing this whole show. That's what we've been doing, getting these people together and making all of this happen. So I'm super excited to work with these, not only my team, but everyone else. being a producer is hard if you don't have people that are friendly and can work with you, and these people have been amazing. So I'm so glad to work with all of you.
Well, we are too. We're very thankful for you. And all of us are very thankful for each other, I think, because like I said before, this is an opportunity for all of us to come together, really get to work on something that we typically wouldn't be able to do, and make something really special out of it that is memorable and definitely something that we can all be proud of. So I don't know if you guys have any like excitement for this video or have seen it yet. Have you guys seen any of what's to come? Anybody?
I think we've all seen just. I
Sorry,
think we've all seen the little bits that they shared with us when we had our big full band zooms, and I think that's about it.
Yeah.
So I know I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, same.
I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I just know it's going to be great.
Well, the strange thing is I've actually seen the whole video, seeing as that I am producing this, and let me tell you, it is absolutely insane what they have put together. I mean, the editing, the music, all of it has been ridiculous. It was beautiful to watch. I absolutely cannot wait for all of you to see this. This is going to blow up on social media. This creates a new age for marching band, and putting it out on social media and being able to work projects like this. Like, it's ridiculous. I loved it.
I can definitely attest to that. I've seen it, maybe not the entire thing, but I've seen a good amount to know how incredible it is. So waiting just a couple more hours, and then everybody gets to see the amazing thing that was created because of the IMB.
Yes, I'm gonna be in a rehearsal tonight going, is it posted yet? Is it posted yet? Like, are we gonna be like watching it yet? Now? How about now? It's something that I think is just probably one of the most amazing videos we're gonna see, especially during these times that we need to see something as inspiring as this. So kudos to this team. Yes, how about a great job? I just have one question. I wanted to know which of you are in the actual performance videos specifically. Just recount. Oh my goodness, that is so cool. Okay, so I have to look for you in like almost 900 squares. We'll see how this goes. Oh my goodness, good thing there's a replay button.
Yeah, I also am going to say I am a little bit biased. I know some of us are. There is a big color guard representation and a big weapon line twirling representation. So I'm definitely watching that. I am biased though, but it's just really nice to see so many people that I wouldn't have met otherwise all coming together to do one thing, and just like bonding through that too. And just like meeting people through that. It's just really fun.
Yeah, no, I can't even imagine that occurring. I don't even know what to even think of that. That's just so many people in one place being so talented. And it's a great representation of all of our universities and colleges across the country. So, you know, that's just incredible as it is. Is there anything else that my other hosts have here that you guys wanted to ask these amazing people while they have some time?
I have a question. I want to know what your favorite part about being on the programming team, or not programming team, but leads. Each one of you are leads this is a really big project, basically. And each one of you did such an amazing job putting together your sections to make it come together as a whole. So I kind of want to know what your favorite part about the experience is, and if there's anything that you're taking away to remember in the future for any other projects. We can start with Maeve. You can start us off.
Okay. So I think the biggest thing for me is that this really gives me the experience to combine my majors with something I love, which is color guard. I'm a media arts major and a public relations, strategic communications, and advertising double major at my school. And I never thought that I would have the opportunity to combine that with color guard. Like, it just doesn't seem like something that you can do for a job. Like, you don't think like, oh, when I grow up, I want to do color guard. But this really showed me that maybe I can, you know, like maybe I don't have to stop doing it when I can't do it anymore. I can still do it in some way or another. And I think that's like the biggest thing that I'll be taking away. It really just gives me that motivation, like after you finish school, like you don't really know what you're going to do, but now I think I have a good sense of where I want to go, which has been really amazing.
That is awesome. I definitely agree, like with baton twirling, growing up, you didn't really know, once you finished competing or twirling in college, you didn't really know where you could take that next besides like coaching. So I thought this is a really cool way to kind of like bring it all together too, because all of you have such creative minds. So getting to interact with people in marching band from all different sections, like you guys came up with some incredible things. Nick, you want to tell us a little bit about your experience?
I have to agree with Maeve. Just combining my major into marching band was just a fantastic experience, and as well as collaborating with so many different teams that I did not think I would be collaborating with, especially in social media. Like just seeing on how it was a big part and how it will be like a huge communication factor within the website and other platforms it's just spectacular.
Yeah, you know, I didn't think about how much until after college really plays into life, especially being in the band, like just being around so many people, you learn how to be such a team environment player. And that really takes a huge sense of character when you go into things that are new, like an intercollegiate marching band virtual halftime performance. Who would have thought? But here we are. And so, like, what did you guys run into as far as challenges when it came to putting this together? Is there anyone who had like an actual, like, oh my gosh, this is so many things to do? Because like Maeve, I think you had close to 1,500 spotlights that you had to originally begin just sorting through. And we have 2 months. Done. Is it done? Is it done?
Yeah, it was crazy for sure. The first few days were a little hectic because we had like 3 different pages of information that we had to compile into one, and it was all like 3 different pages of 1,500 names that we had to like figure out what schools they went to, what instruments they played. And Jeremy was like, oh, we need to start posting these like yesterday. So it was very crazy the first week, but we did get a good rhythm going, which was fantastic. And then it sort of became like, I don't know, just routine. Like I would post 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 every single day, and it was like fun, but it was tricky at first for sure.
It was cool to see. If you guys didn't see on the live stream earlier, there was a clip of how Maeve broke down her spotlight posts. You can always go back and watch that again, but it's really cool to see how every university has been represented in its pride and glory. And so it's been very exciting to see those universities be proud of their students who are part of this project. So if there's anybody out there that wants to continue to share, you should definitely do that so that those members get the credit that they deserve. Is there anything else like Hayden or Hadley that you guys ran into as far as being like, oh my gosh, this is crazy? And yes,
Well,
I'm excited.
I know Hadley will never admit to like this being a hard task because she has been so humble about her work this entire time. Hadley went through the entire list of everyone involved in the band and like just triple checked to make sure like everything was intact, everyone was accounted for. We have everyone in the video. So big shout out to Hadley for taking on that gigantic role, and on top of that just kind of helping with every other team. So definitely shout out to Hadley. I have never checked my email so many times until this past few weeks. And as a journalism major, I should be better about that. But just like talking to a lot of people and just kind of having to like put on your like, wow, I'm talking to people again tone, and it's like, oh, we're like interacting again. It's very interesting, but it's been really, really fun to do that. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine how much work you had to put into it. Like, what was your first impression when you first got approached about doing this project, especially working behind the scenes of it all? Haley, can you answer that?
Yeah, so I messaged, I think, Christine after one of the full band meeting Zooms. They were like, oh, we're looking for people for the website and the PR team. And then later they were like, oh, we need people to like go through submissions. And I was like, I have nothing to do for the next month. Sure. And so like I sent her an email, and the next thing I know, I was in a meeting for the website. And then I was like, you know, I emailed you about these other things too. And she was like, oh, do you want to do more? And I was like, I'll take it. So I ended up doing the website. I added all 200 bands to the website and individually went through and linked all of their pages to our website. Then I sent individualized emails to all of our band directors with the spotlights that Maeve created. And then just doing logistics was like probably the easiest part, because I just sat there and I looked at someone's name. I opened Dropbox, looked for their video, and then I just checked it off. And it was just, I mean, it was exciting. I loved it. And then later, Christine was like, oh, does anyone want to learn how to animate logos? And I was like, well, I'm a graphic design major, sure. And she showed me, or I think Jeremy has this subscription to his website. And so he showed me how to do it. And I made all of the little logos for the sponsors that have been playing in between the segments. And it's just like really cool.
Amazing. You really put that that Udu learning to work. You definitely used everything in your power to put everything into play. I gotta ask though, Mr. Carl, the producer of everything, like you had the biggest job of them all. You put everything together. Tell me about that. Like when they told you, like, can you be the producer of this? How do you feel?
So originally what had happened was Jeremy sent out an email after one of our meetings about people editing videos. And I said, I sent an email, I was like, well, I'm not the best editor, but I'll help. I'd love to help. We have a Christmas break coming up, why not? And then he was like, well, I need a program lead. And I was like, well, tell me a little bit more about that, and, putting some of this stuff together. And then we started doing the roundtable videos, and then we were getting closer, like it was a few weeks out from game day, like today. And he was like, well, we need someone who's going to produce this whole thing. We need someone who's going to put all of these people together and make this thing happen. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I know how to do all of that. I am no broadcasting major. I'm just a music education major. But honestly, like, it's been such a good learning experience, like learning how to do all of this and, working all this behind the scenes. Like even now as we speak, I'm constantly like checking text messages and making sure we're having sponsor roles when they're supposed to. And it's been such a fun experience. And to work, like I said, working with everyone, this could be such a hard job if I didn't have people who responded quick and made this job could be so much harder. And I am just absolutely so grateful for all of you, our host, our guests, who just made this come together. It made my job 1,000 times easier. My team made my jobs 1,000 times easier. But yeah, I didn't expect to be doing all of this, but here we are, and it's been a life rewarding experience. So I'm so grateful.
Here we are. Yes, and thank you, Carl. I don't even think that thank you is enough. We just are very happy to have you on this team and helping us feel comfortable in all of the progress that it's made. So that, that kind of just says a lot about the people that are involved in this project. Every single person has been world-class in their commitment, and their combined efforts are really creating this special gem of a memory that you're all gonna get to see tonight. The YouTube link is gonna be shared at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, you can tweet at us on Twitter, obviously, but tweet at us at the handle Intercollegiate MB, and the hashtag is CFP Virtual Halftime. Tweet at us any questions, comments, the love, the support, shout out, whatever you guys want to do. We're here for it, and this is a special day for all of these performers and universities alike. So let's make sure that we support each other and just continue to work together like we have been. And I'm sure that this is not going to be the last time you've seen Intercollegiate Marching Band. So, we are going to probably have also just a few words from just about the bands at the bowl coming up soon. So Lexi, is there anything else you wanted to discuss before we go into that?
I think all of you were so talented from the very beginning, and you've just proved yourselves how much you can do in such a little amount of time. So I want to give props to all of you guys, and stick around soon because we'll hear a little bit about from Halftime Magazine, the story that is going to be out in this next issue. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for all of your hard work and leading these committees and teams to make this happen. We're so grateful for you.
welcome back. So though marching bands did not attend any bowl games or parades this year, college football has still found ways to include the bands at the bowls. So this segment previews Halftime Magazine's January-February 2021 story. First, we're going to take a look at one of marching band's favorite traditions, the Tournament of Roses Parade. It's presented by Honda. Tournament organizers found a way to reimagine the show to feature recorded musical segments about parade history, celebrity guest appearances, and more. The Pasadena City College Tournament of Roses Honor Band accompanied Tori Kelly on the opening number, The Gift That Keeps on Giving. The Southern University Human Jukebox performed via recorded segment, and Kermit the Frog conducted Everything's Coming Up Roses, featuring senior students that had been invited to march this year. So prior to the Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl games, the College Football Playoff asked bands from the top teams to submit various video segments. The Rose Bowl game, presented by Capital One, moved to Arlington, Texas due to COVID-19 concerns in California. The University of Alabama submitted pre-recorded video and audio such as narrative blurbs and the national anthem. The University of Notre Dame provided its October 12, 2019 halftime show and dedicated the 1969 Apollo 11 moon landing, For the All-State Sugar Bowl, Clemson University submitted an 8-minute pregame video and its Legacy halftime show from October 30th, 2020, honoring historical and inspirational Black figures. The Ohio State University submitted videos of its traditional ramp entrance and Script Ohio, and it provided its 2018 Queen Show, a program that the band played at the Rose Bowl that season. At halftime, however, the Sugar Bowl did not air the submitted marching band videos. Instead, it showed a 10-minute pre-recorded segment featuring well-known New Orleans musical legends. That brings us to tonight's championship game. Viewers might hear some piped-in pieces from Alabama and Ohio State, and marching bands will also get an extra treat.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
We are back and ready to go. So we have just a few more things that we want to talk to you guys about. There is a lot of excitement around this event today. So we want to first and foremost thank all of our sponsors and everyone who's been involved in making this possible. We've gotten to work with some incredible leads from each company and sponsorship alike, just to make it happen. I mean, we have the Beyonce halftime performance from over 900, nominated 1,500, but over 900 performers in one screen for you tonight. And so we just want to talk a little bit about what you're going to be looking forward to. and how it's going to be able to be shared for you to put out for all of your friends and family to join in and see. So we have our YouTube, which will be a link provided for you today, and it will be posted at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all of you to click on, share, and post about, and just tell us what you think. We have our Twitter, which is Intercollegiate MB, and we have our Instagram, the same one, Intercollegiate MB, as well as a Facebook page for Intercollegiate Marching Band. We will have all of this info for you, as well as a few more things to discuss, which will be in regards to what kind of things that we'd like to do with all this, how we see fit for ourselves and this incredible project. So Moises was just telling us a little bit about how he got to be the lead drum major for this presentation. And I wanted to ask you, Moises, what did you have to do to become the man of the day, of the hour?
Honestly, it's just the legacy of the FAMU Marching 100. It was just honestly a stroke of just what we've done in our past as drum majors. There's this thing that FAMU says a lot, especially with the band. We stand on the shoulders of giants. If anybody knows anything about FAMU, the first thing that comes to mind is the Marching 100. And once you see the Marching 100, the first thing you see are the drum majors. The drum majors up in the front. In the past year, we had 10 drum majors, beautiful long capes, the tall, long shako. The first thing you see, and just that legacy alone, is just with the amount of alumni that we had, it's just the tradition keeps going and going, and the expectations just go higher with every passing year.
Yes, and every great college marching band has an even better director standing right in front of them. And so I would like to personally say, with that standing on each other's shoulders, we're really thankful for all of the directors of every single program that is allowing for us to all come together and do this during this time. My personal director was James G. Hudson at Arizona State University. So proud to be in his organization. Like, I am sure that all of these members and performers are proud to be a part of theirs. And so, Lexi, is there anything else that you wanted to add in regards to all of this?
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk a little bit about how Moises was also involved with some of the roundtables. He was involved with the drum major roundtable discussion, which I actually had the honor of doing, and I had a fabulous time. So I kind of want to hear Moises' thought on that, and how, if he enjoyed it, I hope he did.
No, I did. It was actually my first meeting with everybody behind the scenes and everybody from the other schools. And it was very interesting to hear their stories. I just could not imagine. I never really spoke to many people in the Big Ten or in other conferences across the nation. It was just really exciting to hear their stories. I was really intrigued with what everybody had to say and everything they went through, because believe it or not, like, everybody went through a different part of the pandemic and marching in the band. Some people did not march at all. Some people had whole shows, and some people actually were able to perform in their stadium. It was honestly really nice to hear what everybody else did and just the experiences and getting to know many different people.
I know I had a great time because I have always loved the drum majors. I've always had a special connection with them because being the only featured twirler the first 3 years of my experience, I didn't have a section. So during sectionals, the drum majors would become my best friends. And I taught them how to twirl. We did tricks together, which is always kind of like, I loved it so much. I didn't think going into collegiate twirling, I would get to experience something like that. So I loved hearing everybody's different stories from the drum major perspective, because some people did talk about twirling with their twirlers and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, like, I love when that happens. I love when the twirlers get to be a little bit more integrated into the band and stuff like that, because you don't always see that everywhere. I know, Brian, you did a couple of roundtables as well.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
I was just going to say, go twirlers. My best friend, she was a featured twirler, and she was Miss Colorado. I mean, she is incredible. And I have so much respect for the twirlers. I wanted to be one. I was like, why didn't I get a baton when I was 3? And I spin in color guard, for those of you who don't know. So I got my passion out still, but I got to also hear, as a musician growing up, I played multiple instruments. I got to hear, like Moises was saying earlier, a little snippet, just a little little bit at the beginning. And that college sound is not a little bit, it is a lot of it. And it is something that, I mean, it is gonna blow you away. Like, get your loudspeakers on quiet because it's gonna be booming as soon as you hear that marching band play. So I got to do some roundtables with the Winds, and they got to tell me about themselves. These people are incredible. You all know that already, but I have to say it again. Every single person in this activity is incredible because of not only their skills, and they got a lot of them, and their talent that they work hard on, but the incredible commitment that they have in everything that they do. It's a true sign of character in all levels. So please, everyone, be ready for this tonight. We are so excited to have everyone tune in live again, come back, check out on us. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you're gonna get to witness one of the greatest virtual halftime shows of your life.